In Widow Champion, after Rhoda's husband passed away, she was thrown off the land and endured 7 tough years living in an outdoor market with her children. Many women in rural Kenya meet the same fate when deeply rooted patriarchal cultural traditions and discriminatory practices deny widows their rightful share. Widow Champion is directed by Zippy Kimundu, and this is her second feature after co-directing Our Land, Our Freedom in 2023. Widow Champion opens with a very confronting scene where Rhoda, in the film, she visits many widows who are having trouble with their in-laws, and Rhoda talks with a fellow widow, and this widow is having trouble with her in-laws, and she's trying to be kicked out of her home, and she's very distraught, and she's very upset, and it's a very confronting scene to begin the documentary with. And in the film, Widow Champion also ends with very confronting statistics. In Kenya, the population is 53 million people, and 8 million of those people are widows, and of those 8 million widows, 90% of the widows do not have title deeds to their home. So when their husband passes away, they're at a very high risk of being kicked out of their home. In Widow Champion, Rhoda, she's a very inspiring character. She had difficulty when her husband passed away several years ago, and she uses that experience to help other people in Kenya. She formed what's called a widow association in Kenya, and she uses this association to tour the country, mainly the rural parts of Kenya, to educate women about their rights and trying to get them to get the original title deeds to their home so they can stay on their original home with their children. And Rhoda herself is also trying to get, has her own journey in the film as well. She's trying to get the title deeds to her home so she can stay on her husband's land with her children. There's a lot of layers to this film, Widow Champion, because when the widows are having difficulty with their in-law families, when their husband passes away, the reason why they're having difficulty is because there's a lot of cultural and tribal reasons, and a lot of history between the families and between the tribes in different parts of Kenya. So that's why it's a very complicated issue, and there's a lot of emotions at hand, and that's what makes this film quite interesting. Rhoda herself, she's not a very outspoken woman. She just goes and meets many widows, and she's just there to support them. She's there for compassion. She's there in the mediation process. There's a lot of mediation process between like a village chief and the widow who's trying to stay in her home, and the in-laws who are trying to take her home. And Rhoda just sits there, and she's there if she needs support. She's there for information, and she's there if the widow needs her help. And it's very upsetting to see what widows go through when their husband passes away. The in-laws some of the in-laws will, okay, your husband's passed away, maybe you can stay on the land if you give me some sexual favors, and a lot of the widows, and there's quite a high suicide rate with a lot of the widows who when their husband passes away. So there's a lot of confronting issues in this film. I give Widow Champion 3.5 stars out of 5. I definitely recommend checking out this film if you're interested in African culture and women's rights in that part of the world. Rhoda, she's a very inspiring character. She's not a very outspoken character, but she is very compassionate, and she tours the country in Kenya and helping other widows, trying to gain the title deeds to their home so they can stay on the land when their husband passes away. So I definitely recommend checking out Widow Champion. Thanks for watching. What did you think of Widow Champion? Please comment below what you thought of the film. See you next time. Bye.